Hey y'all, what's happening? Welcome to the Cedar Ridge Chronicles. My name is Daniel Williams. If you have not been here before, welcome. I invite you to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. If you already have, thank you. And if you have been here before, I hope that you enjoy this video. Today, we're going to be working on a pack mount. I'm going to show y'all how to put this thing together. This right here is the final product. That's my brand, how I enjoy doing it. The one we're working on will not have the tail. This guy brought me the entire cape right here, so I ended up with the tail and all, which is ideal. It looks really nice on a pack. Okay, before we get started, I'll go ahead and give y'all a few pointers from a business standpoint. If this is something y'all decide to do for the public to make some money off of. Number one, you're going to get a lot of criticism about how you do the face. Y'all can see on my deer, he's got relaxed eyes, ears half back, but really does not look dead. Same thing with this one. I mean, he doesn't really look like he just got shot and packed up onto a pack mount. But what I have learned is that a lot of the people that get these because they look nice. And I don't want to offend anybody out there. So let me get this straight before I even go into this. A lot of people's wives don't like them to have taxidermy work in their living rooms. Now, I know a lot of women that are killers, and I know a lot of them that do a lot of taxidermy work through my shop. Get a lot of deer heads done. But for the majority of the guys that kill bucks, a lot of their wives don't even like deer meat. Some of them don't even like them deer hunting. But I have noticed that there's a lot of women out there that like the look of a pack mount. They've gotten very popular. Even buying deer heads that are not real in some of these craft shops and stuff has gotten popular. And for whatever reason, they like the way that these look on the wall. Rather than the actual shoulder mount. They just don't like the way that it looks with a deer coming through the wall. And I've heard that from a lot of people, which is why I'm telling y'all this, to tell y'all this. This is a great alternative to a shoulder mount if somebody is wanting to have a deer done and does not want a European mount. If they're not allowed to put their mount in their house, unless it looks like this is a great alternative. But what I've noticed is that the ladies don't like the deer looking like it's dead. A lot of taxidermists do a pack mount and they'll have the eyes closed, they'll have the tongue hanging out, they'll have blood all over the mouth. I mean, that is 100% customer preference. I will never criticize a taxidermist for work that they do, because if a customer asks you to do something, that's what you get paid to do, and it really doesn't matter what you think. Like I said, this is my brand, and I do a lot of deer for people that don't like the other pack mounts because the deer looks dead. So, I mean, obviously he doesn't have a body, so he's not alive. But that being said, this looks pretty to a lot of people. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on them because they just don't like shoulder mounts, and they see these, they're like, man, that's what I want. So, okay, let's get started. Enough of that. This right here is my pack frame. I make this out of furring strips. You can buy these at most lumber yards, or I got mine at Lowe's, and they sell them in bundles. And a lot of times you can get these things as cheap as $2 each, sometimes under $2 each, but it's about the cheapest piece of wood you can buy. They come in 8-foot strips. The size that I use, I just cut one 8-foot strip in half. So these are 4 foot a piece. This is cut into 4 pieces. So it's that simple. That way you use 2 whole strips. The whole thing is easy to put together. Just measure these apart however you'd like them. Space them apart. It really doesn't matter as long as they're fairly even and look decent. You know, because there again, a lot of people make these out of driftwood or sticks stuff, and they look awesome. Like if you legit packed a deer out of the woods and had to build a frame, that's what it would look like. This looks more like a ladder with a deer screwed to it, you know, but in the end, it's about the artwork. As far as my brand, what's going on somebody's wall with this, it just gives them another option. What I do, I've got screws in here. One screw per board is all that I've used on all of these. On this end down here, I did 2 to keep it from shifting quite as bad, because it will try to shift on you a little bit. You don't want to use screws that come all the way through that wood right there, unless you're planning on grinding them off, which you can do. And then once I've got that screwed together, I'll stain it, whatever color you want, and cover it in polyurethane. When I get done with that, I like to wrap it in these ropes, which number one helps cover up your screws, but it also just looks cool. You know, it looks like something that you put together out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to show y'all how I tie these ropes to get that cross look right there, where everything looks clean and the knots are hidden. Alrighty, had to get my camera mounted up here. What I do is turn the front down. Take your rope, you're gonna run it over, you're gonna cross it underneath, and then run it back up top. Then you're just gonna tie a square knot. Get a little bit of slack out of here. Tie it, cinch that down as tight as you can get it, and back the opposite direction. You just pull that tight. Just like that. Cut your end off. And that'll give you your knot. Just like so. Now I've already got my deer head done. It's ready to go. I've already got ropes cut for it. I actually used these ropes to wrap around that cape as it was drying to keep it rolled up like that. Now I say as it was drying. Let me give you a little tip on that. These capes will mold really bad if you leave them rolled up to dry. What I like to do is leave it unrolled, leave it hanging, and let it dry until it's still pliable, but it doesn't have a whole lot of moisture in it. And then if you'll roll it up loosely and turn it up on its side so it can drain, that will finish drying it out, and you won't end up with mold all in it. I'm going to attach this. Let's put this on here first. This doesn't have to be tight. It's not actually holding up any weight or anything. It's just going to be holding this cape in place and looking cool. You know, I wish I knew which size rope this was. I know this big rope that I'm using is this right here. Doesn't even have a size listed on there, just a length. But that's your SKU number right there at Hobby Lobby, if you can see that. 1059294. And that's the bigger jute rope that I use to put the cape on here, and I'll use to put my bag on here. Also, probably the size that I'll use up top to actually hang it with. Here's my bag. That's a simulated oilcloth made out of canvas. It's dyed, it's got wax in it. I'm going to put my link in the description of how to make these bags right here. I've got another video that you can go back and watch of how to make this bag. Very, very simple. Before I do this, I'm seeing here, that is bubble wrap. You can use anything in there that you want, but the bubble wrap actually comes in my boxes with my deer forms. So I just save it, use it to throw in there. These belts, I literally bought at Walmart. They're just brown belts. You can get any kind you want, color you want. I just buy the cheapest ones that I can find that I can get two of the same length. The size bag that this is, based on all these dimensions, these belts need to be about 44-inch belts. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to run this belt up under one of these slats. Just get that curled over however you want it to look. Just put your belt on there. This doesn't have to be real tight either, because we're actually going to put a rope around this to hold all of this in place too. Alrighty. Now then, it's got that. We're going to get us some rope. And what I'm going to do, tie a piece of rope to the side here. Come across. I'm going to loop it over the back side of one of those little slats that comes out there. We'll go back across, and we're going to tie it to the other side. On this right here, you do want this fairly tight. This is what's actually going to hold your bag in place while it's up on the wall. Cinch it on down. Like that. There is no right or wrong way to do this. A lot of folks will come and see the ones that you've got made, and they'll want one just like it. You'll have other folks that comes in with pictures that's going to want one made differently. Now, we're going to attach our head to our pack frame. Got me a piece of rope cut. This is how I normally tie these on here, if I can remember how to do it. Usually takes me a couple of tries to even remember what I'm doing here. Tie one side right there. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go see if I can remember this. Go over, now let's go under, and then back around, under, back under here. There we go, like that. Then we're going to go under the other side and back over right next to the head, like that. That looks nice, and it pulls it down into the frame when you tie it off. And on this side, I'm going to actually go around the side right here. And tie it off. That ain't going nowhere. Says every man when he uses bungee cords. All right. Now then, trim this end off here. All we need now is something to hang that with. Here, I got a piece of scrap rope in here somewhere. Piece right there. I think will be just fine. And on this, when you're hanging this, you just want to make sure that you go underneath here so that you've got that, so your rope don't slip off the top. I know that sounds obvious, but I don't know how smart y'all are. Maybe a bunch of dummies I'm talking to, you never know. You're probably a lot smarter than I am. It don't take a lot of brains to put together a deer head in a barn. But hey, it's paying the bills. Same thing on this one, just make sure that you go, below this slat right here so that you can hold that weight up. And just tie it to it. Nothing fancy about it. There we go. Now then, let's see how we did. All right, just like that. Got a pack mount. Of course, it can be adjusted. If you want to adjust the head, make the head straight, turned, whatever. I mean, all that is just tied up there with rope. So, I mean, you can do anything to it you want to. Something else, too. Make sure you tell your customers that pretty much all these bags and ropes are all going to be a different color. You see the difference in the color of that bag and that one. Both use the same material, same dye, same everything. But that's just the nature of the beast when you're dyeing fabric. Dyes don't always take the same way on fabric. It's kind of weird, I guess. Maybe I just don't know how to use fabric dye. But anyway, that is how I do my pack mounts. So I hope that was helpful. And like I said, listen to your customer. If they want something that looks dead, make something that looks dead. But I've had better luck with this right here because that's an option that's not given by a whole lot of people that makes a good decoration in the house other than just a deer head. So, thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next video.